Hello everyone, and welcome to the Millquas Productions No Budget Indie Blueprint. So something that I want to start off with is something I neglected to talk too much about in the other video, which is having a doable idea. And when I say having write a doable idea, I want you to try and do something that won't take too much energy, too much effort, too many locations, won't have a lot of special effects. Just something simple, that something doesn't have crowds in it, something that you can do, that you can pull off, and once you pull it off, you feel a sense of accomplishment. I wrote one of my first screenplays was all in one location on one street. I haven't shot it yet, but that would be an example of doing something that's pretty easy. That's a doable idea. Everything took place in a house or out in the backyard. My first film that I ever did, my first short film called Yard Sale, I did because I had access to my backyard and a bunch of junk, and I just went out and bought a yard sale sign, and we had our short film in the backyard.
Sit back and let the cash roll in.
Also, a doable idea has to do with the surroundings that you have available to you. So if you work in an office, you have a cubicle space, and the company that you work for is willing to let you use that space, maybe after hours, you can film there. I did that with one of my films with Brawler. I used our office. They let me use it after hours. And I used my house, the house that I was renting, for one of my short films called Zombo. We shot everything in the garage and in the living room.
What in the hell was that? Oh, take it easy, Carl. He was gonna turn eventually. Just ripping the Band-Aid off early.
Work with what you have. Work with what's available, what you think you can get, maybe a friend's house, something that's accessible and is easy. I've also heard that you should probably try and shoot your first film, your feature film, like the majority of it, over 50% in one location, just to kind of keep everything succinct and easy to manage. So that's what I mean by having a doable idea. Write to what you have and what's available to you. Make it easy on yourself the first time. So next step is, once your screenplay is done, once you've gotten what's called a vomit draft out, you finish that 90 to 120 pages of screenplay, you want to find somebody to give you some solid and good feedback. I have a couple of friends that I send mine to, and they usually give me some pretty honest and easy and good feedback, which I'm looking for general feedback. I want to see if things make sense, if they can see it, or if they were confused on anything. After that, you're going to want to do another draft, and then another draft, and then another draft. And I'm not going to lie, there is a lot of work that goes into a screenplay. So it's easiest to sit down and to start writing, start working, and then work a little bit more the next day, and then work a little bit more. Put an hour in, put 2 hours in one day, put 30 minutes in, put 15 minutes in before you go to bed. It's a constant process, but I promise you that if you keep at it and you just are diligent about working on your screenplay, you're going to finish it and you're going to make it good. Ideas for places to get feedback. I put a general call out on Facebook. I usually have a couple people respond to that, and I also have a couple people I email to ask them if they would be willing to take on a screenplay and give me some feedback or read it and see what's up. You might want to consider, if you have somebody in the film industry, you're like, hey, I would hope you would give me some feedback. You might bribe them with $20 or something, or maybe take them out to dinner or something like that. Just reward them, give them praise and thanks for giving you the much needed read. Check out some Facebook groups. That might help you. Some filmmaking groups that are local to you. I know there are a couple here in Utah that you can send out a call for, and people will want to do that. It's really a challenge to get people to read your screenplay in the first place. The next thing you want to do when you finish your screenplay and you've done a couple of drafts is you want to hold a table read. Now, if you don't know what a table read is, a table read is where the writer and potentially a producer that wants to produce the film get a bunch of actors together and you read everything out loud to hear how it sounds. You want to know how things are flowing and how they sound out loud, because they can sound a lot different on the page than they will when the actors are saying it. There are a couple things that might help you with this. One, you'll be able to take notes and see what was working in your screenplay. You'll be able to hear what's awkward, what's not working, what doesn't make sense. I think it's invaluable to hear your words out loud, and also get some feedback from the actors just to make sure that everything makes sense or doesn't make sense in your plot. So hold a table read. Now, if you don't know where to get actors, you can contact some local agencies. I would just Google or Bing local talent agencies in your area and send them an email. Say, hey, we're going to hold a table read. We're wondering if we could have some actors. Some actors will do that, because actors will do that. They want opportunities to come meet directors and writers and producers and to be out there practicing their craft. So hold a table read. Just a couple notes on the table read. Take some treats, take some waters, get some drinks. Just make everything comfortable for people, because they are coming to do you a favor. After you're done with your table read, you'll want to do more revisions. For my first scripted feature, Lake 7 and the Golden Gun, we had a couple of rewrites, then we did a table read.
How cliche.
I know, but it's kind of cool.
Okay, well, that sounds like JR's department.
56?
Yeah.
Wait, we're on 50. Oh, I'm sorry.
Top of 56. It's a table read.
Table read, and then I went back and I did more revisions on the screenplay. We found that some things were a little bit confusing. We needed to shore up a couple of plot points just to make sure that they were clear. And it also gave me opportunity as the director to see where people might get tripped up in the plot as I was producing the film. So I got a heads up on things that might have been a little bit more tricky. So that holding the table read was really good for me. And then I got to make the revisions for Lake 7. One thing you can do if you don't want to write a screenplay, or you're just too intimidated by it, or maybe it's not your style, you might try doing an improvised dialogue film. This can be tricky, but let me give you a basic idea on how to do this. First off, you're going to want to write an outline. You always got to start with an outline. It's just, you got to outline things. You got to know where you're going to start and where you're going to basically end. And you're going to want to have basic characters who you want to be involved in the film, and you're going to want to have a beginning and an ending, and you guys kind of figure out how to get from beginning to end. What I did, I've made 2 improvised dialogue films, and both of them had an outline, and I basically knew exactly where I wanted to go with the film. I had improviser friends that were also actors that I knew could pull this off. So what we would do, for example, with Pegasus Hunter, is I would meet with my starring actor, Jason, and we would meet and we would say, okay, this is what we want to happen in the scene. They want to get from here to here. Let's see what happens. And we would do a take. And then we would refine it. We'd go, okay, this worked, this didn't work. Let's keep this. I want to focus on this. And then we would do it again until we got everything that we wanted.
The burning field is Mother Nature at work in your mouth.
You can try and make an improvised dialogue film. I think the trick is you really need good improvisers. If you don't have good improvisers, good actors, people who can talk and talk naturally and kind of get from A to B with the dialogue, you're taking a risk. You're taking a big gamble, and you might not have a good experience with your film.
No.
That's very creative. I never would have thought to do that.
So if you're going to make an improvised dialogue film, you will want to get very strong improvisers. And I will also cover improvised dialogue more in another video. So those are the first couple of ideas that I had for the no budget indie blueprint that I'm trying to give you right now. If you liked this video, please check out the next one because I have a bunch more information to share with you. I mean, I'm no expert, but I wanted to give back to the community, and I hope you got some knowledge out of this. If you liked it, please subscribe and share. So get out there, start your screenplay, just write, and be diligent about it. And good luck with your filmmaking.